What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. It's Ars. Let's get productive. So today I am super excited to bring a new VST to this channel, and it's dealing with one of my favorite companies, Thenatan. They make super high quality VSTs at affordable prices. They did the tape piano VST, they did tape piano 2, and I'm always excited to talk about their things on this channel. So today we're gonna talk about Brass by Thenatan. Now this is their newest VST, and it focuses strictly on brass instruments, which is an area that I feel like gets neglected a lot when you listen to a lot of these other romplers and VSTs and synthesizers. Whenever there's a brass category, in a lot of cases, it's not the best sounding things, or I should say, it's not the most creative sounding brass. So I've been looking forward to hearing someone take a new approach on brass and really kind of approach a brass instrument like it's a rompler in itself and give you a lot of different really cool brass presets. And this thing delivers on all categories. This thing is fire. So I can't wait to talk about it. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. Thenatan Brass. Let's see what this thing is all about. So as always, I have Logic queued up, and this is Brass. Now, I think the first thing you're going to notice when you load this thing up, if you have any of Thenatan's other products, is that the UI approach is very similar to a lot of their other products. So they're definitely staying in theme. They definitely have their own feel and their own look when it comes to their VSTs. Very clean stuff, usually very minimal, but just very clean and futuristic looking, easy on the eyes, easy to go through the VST and kind of see what's going on the screen and not getting too confused by a lot of different knobs and buttons. It just gives you what you need to get the job done. I love the yellow accents and the gray background. It's kind of muted colors, muted tones. But what's happening underneath the hood of this VST via the sounds is where it really brightens and it really shines. So let's take a look at some of the features that are going on inside of this thing. Now, before we get into this big box here in the center, which has its own kind of feel to it. These lines are shaking a little bit, and it's kind of like a WTF moment, like what is going on there? I'm gonna talk a little bit about that, but I think it looks really cool with you can see it has the word brass written here and it's kind of broken up. So if you look down here at the bottom, this thing allows you to layer brass instruments together. So you have 4 sound engines here, represented by these 4 circles here in the layer section. And as you go through these different presets, which you can do by clicking the forward arrow or the backward arrow up here, you'll notice that the layers down here change. Now you'll notice these 2 circles down here are highlighted and these 2 aren't. Whichever circle is highlighted, that's the layer that's activated. So on this preset, this brass and bells preset that we have loaded up right here, it's just these 2 layers playing right here, and these other 2 layers aren't activated. If you wanted to activate these layers and add more brass and kind of stack these sounds on top of each other, you could do that by just simply highlighting this circle right there. So that activates the 3rd layer. And each one of these layers are represented right here in the sample section by the 4 corners of this square. So this left circle over here in the layer section, we'll call that layer 1, is represented by this left section over here in the sample section where it says 46. And you can change and scroll through each one of the samples for each one of the layers by just changing the numeric value. So instead of having names for each of the brass, each brass sound or sample is represented by a number. And as you change the number, it changes the sound. So I'm gonna just change this top left corner here in the samples, and it's gonna change this top left layer here, and you'll hear what it sounds like. And then I can activate this 2nd layer here and change that 2nd sample. And that's how you're gonna layer your sounds up and kind of get your own thing going and be able to create your own presets inside of this VST. Now, another really cool thing that's happening here, I said that we're gonna talk about this square box in the center here. This square box is kind of like a randomizer for all of your samples. So you see down here, you have the 4 layers in a square box, and each one of these layers are represented by 4 numeric values in the sample section. And this thing right here, you can scroll, and you'll notice as I'm scrolling in the center of the square box, the samples, the numeric value down here, the sample numbers are changing. And you'll notice if I just change one of the samples and go up, that little circle in that square box is moving. So you can either randomly come up with your own sound by scrolling around on this center display here. You'll notice as I move, the samples change. That's a really cool one. So you can either randomly select samples by doing that, or you can get really intricate with your sound design and change the samples individually to what you're going for. Or you can just click on the presets that they already have set up for you. They have a bunch of factory presets set up right here. You can do it that way. But yeah, that's how you're going to deal with the sounds inside of this thing and layering sounds up and really using this VST to its full potential, because you can do a lot with this. For it to be an instrument that's just focused on brass, you can really get crazy with this thing and create some really cool presets. If you move on over here, you have your attack section. We already know what attack is. You have your release section. You have a stereo widener in the width section here, so you can widen your sound. You have a color section here, so this is going to help you brighten your sounds up and give your sounds a bit more character. And you have your main gain knob, and this whole section applies to all of the sounds inside of this VST. If you come up to the top here and you click on these faders up here in the top right corner, that's going to bring you to your 4 tracks and the individual settings that you can apply for each one of these tracks. So you have track A, track B, track C, track D. And each of these represent one of the sounds in the 4 layers that you have operating inside of this VST. You go over here to the right, this is going to take you to your effects section, and these effects apply to the whole entire sound. So it's not applying to individual layers, it's applying to the sound as a whole. And you can turn the effects on and off by clicking these little circles here in the top left corner. You have a drive effect, and that's how you're going to get some distortion. You have a delay effect right here. You have a reverb. You have a panning effect. Right down here, you have your bit crusher. You have an EQ section. You have a New York style compressor, which is really dope. And you have a high pass and low pass filter over here as well. So you can apply high pass and low pass filters to the individual samples that you have layered up. And you can also go over to the effects section and apply a high pass and low pass filter to the sound as a whole. So you can really go in deep and carve out the sound that you're looking for. And I think that's really cool. But like I said earlier, where this thing really shines is in the sounds. And I've been having a lot of fun making beats with these brass instruments. And one of the things that's super enjoyable is how it allows me to create my own brass. So I can really layer the brass up and come up with my own thing. So what we're gonna do right now is go through some of the sounds inside this VST. We're gonna go through some of the presets, and we're gonna see what's going on underneath the hood of this VST. So let's start scrolling through some of these presets and just see what they have going on here. So we're gonna start, we'll just randomly start from a random location inside of the presets. We'll start with throat. And I'm gonna just go through the sounds. And as you can see in this sound, only 2 of the layers are selected. So if I wanted to, I can turn the other 2 layers on and I can add more to this sound. And that really brightened that sound up a lot. And if I thought that sound was too bright, I can go over here to where it says color and kind of dampen that sound a little bit. I can make the sound wider or a little bit narrower. Can up the attack. I can have it fade in and crescendo a little bit by just adjusting the attack. Really cool stuff. We'll go through another sample. Really cool stuff. And you can move this slider around here in the middle and randomize the sound. Really, really, really dope. Woo. That's super crazy. Just really, really great samples. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get right into the cookup. I'm gonna show you guys a beat that I put together using brass. Now, this beat is semi-mixed. I didn't mix it all the way, but what I did do is use brass on every single sound in this beat. So every single instrument you're hearing in this beat, with the exception of, I think, the bass sounds, like the 808 and the sub bass, and obviously the drums. Every single sound that you're hearing in this beat is coming from this brass VST. So we're gonna check this thing out right now and see what it's all about. And that's it. That is the beat I made using the brass VST. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, Thenatan, in my opinion, is really becoming synonymous with making really high quality VSTs for an affordable rate. Now, there are other VSTs on the market currently that do entire instruments that focus strictly on brass. There's not a lot of them, but there's a few. You have companies like Output that definitely does that, and their VST is really dope. But you're dealing with a huge gap in the price of these instruments. And I gotta tell you that for what you're paying for this thing, what you're getting out of it is 10 times more than anything you're paying for this VST. I'm hesitating to say the price because I don't know what the price is gonna be when I put this video out. Thenatan usually gives a promotional rate when he first puts out his VSTs, and then, you know, sometimes that price is subject to change. But even when he changes the price of his VSTs, they typically stay at an affordable rate for what it is you're getting. But I definitely think that this is a VST that you guys should check out. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comment section if there's a new VST or a plugin that you think I should be checking out and bringing to this channel. Leave it down below. As always, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you can stay notified anytime I drop a new video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.